I am Sonny Shagun. I am representing Group 4, and we'll be talking about knowledge management and e learning. I and my colleague, Samuel, Eniola, Anastasia, and Omotayo, would be taking you through this course. And soon, someone will be introducing you to knowledge management.
My name is Omotayo Pemi, and I'm talking about the introduction to knowledge management. So, knowledge is the understanding of information that an individual or organization can acquire through education and experience. So, there are two types of knowledge, which are explicit knowledge and tacit knowledge. Explicit knowledge are codified in the sense that they are found in books, journals, etc. So tacit knowledge are the kind of knowledge that are based on experience. Like it comes with insights, judgment, wisdom that comes from learning or long experience in a field. So knowledge management is the process by which an enterprise gathers, organizes, shares its information in such a way that it is easily accessible to every employee. So this knowledge that is being shared in organization can include technical resources, frequently answered questions, training documents, and people skills. Knowledge management helps organization to emphasize the spirit of learning as part of the organization culture. And this can also be done through e-learning because e-learning enables every employee or student to make learning as a culture in them. Before knowledge is transformed into learning materials and required in organization, it is very necessary to manage such knowledge first. So, with knowledge-based e-learning, employees can share informations about areas of studies on the site. Another requirement for individual learning also managers can also place online instructional materials for their staff to download and assign assignment to them through the system. Interactions between staffs, top management, and others can also take place through discussion forum, the chat box. So it is very necessary to apply knowledge management concept in the development of e-learning to identify, select, organize, and disseminate important information within an organization so as to increase productivity and improve learning achievement to enhance learning capacity of the organization.
So I'll be talking about the subtopic human element under the topic knowledge management and e-learning. So there are four factors under this subtopic, and the four factors are human elements, semantic web, content issues, and incentives. So firstly, I'll be talking about human elements. Under human elements, we have employees' perspective and we have self-interest. Under the employees' perspective, the senior managers have this perspective of sharing knowledge that they have gathered to other employees. But for employees, it is different. They feel that sharing their knowledge to other employees might reduce their value in the organization. Then for self-interest, people gain knowledge to increase their productivity, but without the interest or they are just being reluctant to share. They don't have the interest to share with any other person. They keep the knowledge to themselves. Then for incentives, under incentives, we have influence sharing. Influence sharing, once the employees find out that there is a value attached to the sharing of knowledge, they tend to share knowledge with other people. And when other employees notice that one employee is already sharing the knowledge, they will want to do the same as well. Then we have unintended consequences. When people see that when people see that an amount of a monetary award is added to the sharing of the knowledge, they start sharing the knowledge so that they can get an award. But when a large amount of money is added to the award, is going to lead to unintended consequences. So for guidelines, different amounts should be given to the employees, and the amount of award that should be given to the employees should be based on the senior manager's judgment on the value of knowledge. So the next factor we're going to be talking about is content issues. Under content issues, we have complicated technology. Complicated technology tends to sink knowledge management, which is very, very bad. Then under this factor, we also have this thing, content. Creating a quality content is a key success in knowledge management, and it tends to attract people. Then the last factor under this factor is lack of content. When there is too little content, people tend to lose interest and decide to look elsewhere, which might make the project come to an end. Then the last factor we're going to be talking about is semantic web. Under semantic web, we have web with meaning. So for knowledge to be managed on the web, semantic web must be built. Another name for semantic web is web with meaning. So lastly, we're going to be talking about the last factor we're going to be talking about is the resource description framework. Under this, the semantic web relies on this particular factor solely because this particular factor describes resources and their properties. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oyetani Samuel, and I'm here to talk about understanding e-learning. To facilitate the spread of knowledge and support of this system, an organization must have a system capable of accommodating all the areas of the organization in terms of knowledge spread with high cost efficiency and ease of access by its employees. The main purpose of this knowledge management system is to increase the competence of employees in the organization as part of human resource management. By leveraging the power of information technology, enterprise knowledge management can be used more efficiently and consistently. One of the products of information technology integration into the business world is electronic learning, or fondly known as e-learning. Today, e-learning begins to pull the attention of many parties like the academia, professionals, corporates, or industries. With the advent of e-learning, the process of accessing recorded information can be done from a place even far away from a workplace. Hence, e-learning not only serves as a facilitator, but also makes it easier for the employees of the company to continue learning from their other post experience that have been recorded, documented, and stored in a repository. In using electronic media as a supporter of this learning process, everyone who wants to learn does not need to be face-to-face. E-learning allows this to be implemented regardless of place and time constraints. Here are some forms of activities e-learning can do as follows. We have the individualized self-paced learning online. What does this mean? This is the situation where an individual conducts a learning process by accessing content resources through intranet or internet. The typical form of this activity is like, let me say, a student learning through the internet as a learning medium, or browsing through the internet to fetch sources or data. Secondly, we have the individualized self-paced e-learning offline. This means a situation in which an individual performs a browsing activity by accessing the database of intended material or offline material like database stored in a memory card, in a DVD, in a CD, etc. And thirdly, we have the group-based e-learning synchronously. Group-based e-learning synchronously means a situation where a group that is composed of students work in real time, learning through intranet and internet media. Typically, this includes text-based events, conferencing, and one or two communications with the use of.
And I'm here to talk about the challenges in e-learning. Practicing e-learning has not been as easy as imagined. Precisely, the biggest obstacle in implementing e-learning is not the technology that is owned or the process of managing knowledge that exists in the organizations. Surprisingly, the biggest obstacle has turned out to be in human aspects. To make an online learning process successful in accordance with the goals of an organization, it is necessary for it to carry out the process of civilizing the online learning process for each individual within an organization. This is due to the fact that changing the paradigm of each individual is a difficult thing to do. In general, the employees may argue that if the knowledge possessed is incorporated into the system and reused, then the existence of in the organization will be threatened. Besides, the culture that exists within the organization, apart from feeling threatened, is the comfort zone, which had been explained before. The security that each person has makes it difficult to respond to changes because it occurs outside the increasingly dynamic environment. For this reason, the organization must find ways to change the behavior of its human element. At present, the managerial level must make regulations that require every employee in the organization to carry out the e-learning process by using online facilities which have been provided. The existing employees are made accustomed to donating knowledge that they have for the benefits of the organization. Must also have a deep understanding about the importance of the success of learning within the organization, which is useful for them to improve their competencies. A statement about this competency must be conveyed to each employee so that it will be useful for them to develop themselves in order to respond to the challenges that are increasingly high in competition. By familiarizing with the learning culture existing in the organization, the success of e-learning activities will be guaranteed. This is useful for achieving organizational goals with regard to the changes that exist in the environment outside the organization. Furthermore, in the learning process, explicit knowledge can also be used as tacit knowledge acquired by employees, communication, or collaboration needed to improve the employees' understanding of other materials. These features of collaboration and communication includes forums, email, chat tools, and audio and video conferencing. In conclusion, e-learning takes different forms. We have the self-paced e-learning, we have the instructor-led e-learning, and lastly we have the hybrid e-learning. The self-paced e-learning, this allows users or learners to learn at their own pace, at their time, using different online courses. In comparison to the traditional schooling or learning, which happens in person, the self-paced e-learning allows students or learners to learn at their own pace. The next one, which is the instructor-led training or e-learning. This is when an instructor facilitates a training session for a group of learners or an individual. While an instructor-led training can be conducted in person or online, the most important aspect is that the learners have real-time access to the instructor for feedback and discussion. On to the last part, hybrid learning. This describes the educational model in which students spend at least half of their time learning online and the rest of their time learning in physical classrooms. According to this interpretation, online only is just what it sounds like here, a course that is entirely online.
In conclusion, a virtual example of e-learning can be seen in Nigeria in the year 2020 when there was COVID and people couldn't get to school or do anything that would make them come all together. UNILAG made a way of passing information to the student, passing knowledge to the student using the Zoom platform, which made us actually got more of the e-learning part. So part of the issues the student faced while using the Zoom was that some people could not afford to get online. Secondly, people could not use the right means. Thirdly, there was a break in classes, and fourthly, some people could not afford to be in the classes in Nigeria. Then we all moved on and we were evaluated. That was the exam through the UNILAG Pro-STI platform. So with this, I am able to give you a practical example of passing knowledge through e-learning.